I'm 4 feet tall at 2 years old. He's already 50 pounds, so he's bigger than a size 5-year-old kid. And he eats 110 grams of protein a day. We didn't give him carbohydrates for the first 2 years because babies don't have the enzymes to use carbohydrates, so there's no reason to do that. Right? And you were telling me about your squat, and it was like 777, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and I'll tell you, brother, Mike. You have, I swear to God, you're like just a half a step ahead of where I'm going, because I was going to actually talk to you about your boy next. Well, now we can talk about this concept with obviously the raising of your boy.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 things. One is, I love that Akram said that because of the fact that when I was 9, 10, 11, I have this book, and I still always carry my books with me. But in this book, I measured my arms, I measured and I tested my strength levels. And every 3 months, I would take a picture and do this. And I have this book from 19 years old to 30 years old. That whole period of time, my workouts that Jeff Magruder gave to me, Doyle Kennedy's deadlift workouts that he gave to me, Doug Furness's squat workouts that he gave to me. And so I have this book of workouts and goal setting. Okay, this is what my arms are at this age. This is how big I want them at this age.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that people are going, wow, I don't need bigger arms than this. It's not about that. It's about whatever the goal is that you want. I knew at that age it was this or nothing.
Yeah.
I knew this was my life, and I got to do it. And I started that journal as a 9-year-old. And it's great because you see me writing, and I'm writing bicep wrong, I'm writing whatever. But the point is that it was like the will was there to set goals at that age. Why aren't they doing it? Why aren't they putting the affirmation on the wall? Why aren't they saying, we got the one life?
Because anything that you achieve in school has been taken away. When you go to school, my daughter, there was a thing called the Great American Challenge. It was like the Gettysburg Address, the Pledge of Allegiance, all the presidents of the United States, all the states and the capitals in alphabetical order. I don't know if I said the Gettysburg Address already.
Yeah, I think you did.
There was a whole bunch of things that you had to do to get this. And my daughter was one of 3 kids in her entire class that were able to do the whole thing at the end of the year. So they went up there and they got their little piece of paper, their little slip. But they didn't want everyone else to feel bad. So then everybody got to come up and get a piece of paper saying they tried.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
the good old
the
trophy for participation.
Correct. It is absolutely destroying any value on winning. At the same time as it's destroying any value on
hard work,
on hard work and achievement.
Yeah.
If you don't work hard, you don't eat, huh?
When you get beat, that makes you a champion.
Correct.
Yeah.
I could never beat Bull Stewart in a powerlifting meet, and I'm glad I didn't, because it put a fire under my ass so big that it was like, okay, I'll just keep working, outlast him. No, I can't outlast him because he's 60 doing 700 pounds for still 10 reps. But the point is, if I beat him, I guarantee I would have been, I beat the very best at that time. And so now I don't need to worry about it. If my physique grew as quick as my strength did, and I started winning, going IFBB or something, I probably would have went down another route. I love the fact that I did lose when I needed to lose. That made me work harder and go, okay, I need to go this way. I need to go this way. Life's given me this. Nobody goes over here. I'm going over there. But that's where you discover that stuff. You went through college, didn't read a book. I believe that.
I tried. It just didn't work,
So I don't know. I think there's something about you got to lose and come back. You got to lose and come back, or at least get beat, or come close, or battle, freaking battle.
Shows character. It builds a character and shows what you're made of.
I mean, we get your butt whipped. How you deal with that is what actually your character's made of. You got to learn to problem solve. You got to learn to recognize, okay, this is tough, but I'm going to get better because of it. All of this comes through getting your big time adversity, getting your back put against the wall is what's needed to develop all this stuff.
What Mike said earlier, if he didn't beat Nick wouldn't take it up a next level.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
If I had to walk through that contest and won that easily, because I broke the state record in the squat that day. I did like 727 at 220. And because I think we were in the 220s that day, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
We were 242.
Were we? Oh yeah, we were. You're right. We were 42s. I did the 220s in 91.
When Nick was telling that story, hold on, I just got to say, I love what you're telling that story to me. In your head was just, after he beat me, I never got beat again. He wouldn't stop. Wouldn't stop shaking his head. You can feel. Yeah.
That's the guy I want to hang out with. I want to hang out with that guy going, you ain't beating me again.
That's it. He just no. Never happened again. Nope. I never got beaten. Nope. California, I always won after that.
Yeah, it was a good run. It was a lot of fun.
We were different then, though. And that's one thing I was telling my team here. I try to help. I try to help the young ones. And I've seen the next great Arnold come and go every year since I've been at Golds. This guy comes in. He's got everything. The looks, the body. This guy's going to win everything and do everything. And for some reason, just there's a little bit something that's not there firing mentally. That it's like, well, I just gave you 10 things that you shouldn't do. And he's over there doing them. And I'm like, and in a year, he's gone. And it's like, when I remember this, I beat you. Cool, whatever. But a year later, I saw you after you went back and you won it. Mm-hmm. And you came to Golds and you were walking up the steps. And I see you, and I just smiled because I was like, there's a man I did battle with, right? And you were telling me about your squat, and it was like 777, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was like you just crushed it. And I'm like, that's cool, but you were focused. There was a clarity to my conversation with you. I knew who you were. I knew what you wanted. I knew your goals without you telling me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So talk to us about the little guy, Mike. Obviously, we talked a little bit about how he came along, just kind of made you personally kind of went to the next level, because obviously there's a whole new purpose in life. Obviously, but tell us about him. I can't wait to watch him grow up under your tutelage. I got to tell you that.
I'm blessed to have a baby mama that I do with that little guy. So I gotta. Which makes me respect American even more. She's more of a savage than I'll ever be, the missus. But we agreed on how to raise him food-wise, emotionally wise. And I've been blessed in these last 2 years to see him growing and doing what he's doing. And he's just this little smile. He came out and he was smiling. The kid's still smiling today. It's just fun to see how happy he is. On the side note, I took what I learned at a young age, and I know that and I hope they prove this one day. It's like all the hate against me from whatever. If they didn't like me, oh boy, when they see him. Because this kid is almost 4 feet tall at 2 years old. He's already 50 pounds, so he's bigger than a size 5-year-old kid. And I'm
you say 4 feet tall? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy smokes! That's
pounds.
Crazy.
And the things we did with him was the consistent on, which Mona was great about, because most parents, they'll feed for a while and they won't stay with it. This kid has never missed a meal every 3 hours since the day he was born.
Wow.
And people are going to go, what do you mean by that? No, it's straight up. He eats 110 grams of protein a day. We didn't give him carbohydrates for the first 2 years because babies don't have the enzymes to use carbohydrates. So there's no reason to do that. So we gave him fatty steak and was most of his meals by the time he was 8 months old. And he gets goat milk, duck eggs, and regular milk. And he's on. I don't think he knows what the word starving means. So,
Yeah,
But again, he's gonna be a monster. So we started him swimming at 3 months old. We don't have him do anything that he doesn't go to. So we take him to jiu-jitsu, and unless he goes on the mat, we don't force him to go on the mat, and he goes right on the mat. We don't force him to do swimming twice a week. As soon as the coach walks in, he runs to the pool. We don't teach him to pick up the kettlebells and do anything like that. And he does it just because he watches mama and me doing it. So it's cool to see the process. And it also makes me go, well, I got to be around for the next 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
And I got to be a savage.
In good shape.
Yo, Dad, I want the car keys right now.
Dad, I want the car keys. Yes, son.
Well, I mean, you've been defying Father Time this far. I don't see that changing anytime soon, brother. I mean, you got the formula for sure. You know.
Thank you, man. It's fatherhood. I've always been a dog guy, and I'm still a dog guy, and I'm so glad that I waited to have a son at this age, with me being mature enough to have a son. Man, this is fun.
It gets better. Trust me, it gets better. Mine just turned 21.
That's the commonality with everybody that's a parent, and they say that, and I'm like, how's it get better than this? This is pretty awesome.
It's
better.
crazy because you can't, as someone who's not a father, it's really difficult. You can't describe to them what they're going to feel when they become a father. You know, it's like, and then you only really get to understand when you become a father, and then it just, I mean, it's so fulfilling. You know, it brings a whole different dimension to life that you didn't know existed. You know, and it's amazing.
I went through my whole life like that. I went through my whole life going, hey, Mike, you need to have a kid. Yeah, I'm good. I got a dog. I'm good. Dogs are great. Dogs are great, and still my baby. But yeah, I will never say to a person that hasn't had a kid, hey, you need to have a kid, because you really can't explain it. There's no word for it.
I would equate it to like your heart running around outside your body.
Okay. Fair.
You know, all your love, all your heart, just running around doing things.
Why do you want to cry? He runs up to me and kisses me and says, "Hi, Daddy, I love you," and I just want to cry. I'm like, "Oh, what's that about?"
Dude, I swear to God, I've cried more as a parent than I had. You know, it's unbelievable, and it's like, but it's happy tears. It's a different type of cry. You know, it's like, you know, until you experience, it's like that emotion just spools up and comes out, and you realize it's a good thing. It takes a little while, you know, to embrace those tears. You know, the fact that a lot of times my daughters would think, you know, something wrong. And no, this is a happy cry, kiddo. You know,
I'm really proud of you. So just everything's okay. I'm just swelling, so it's good.
I love it.
Well, it's gonna, like I said, brother, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch the little one grow up with everything that you've done yourself and your knowledge that you have, and even what you go real quick. You were talking about what you had, how basically you kind of fed Mona prior to leading up. There was a preload, so to speak. Here, talk about that. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, there was a year preload, so we trained her and fed her, getting ready to have the baby for a year, just making sure she was on point. And she's pretty incredible too, because it's kind of cool to see her. She won the Miss Universe IFBB Pro and all that stuff. And so she was already running the magazines at Muscle and Fitness, hers and stuff, when we met. And she was already a champion. And it's cool to see a woman that's in her 40s change her physique from when she won the universe, and she looks better now, 7-8 years later with me, from training the way I train and having a baby. It's like, wait a minute, you're supposed to look better in your 30s when you're winning the universe than you are after a baby in your 40s. So that's cool. But we set her up. It's all about just strength, keep a good posture and all that. And we fed her really well. And what's cool about her too is nervous system training, or that heavy weights, allows that girl to eat carbohydrates, where most women are running away from it. And so she's a meat eater. She's in great shape. So we set her up for a year. Then the baby came. We kept her really well during the pregnancy. And then through the whole time, it was one of those things that we're learning about how babies eat and what they function. And the great thing about Mona too was which is tough. And I know no woman's going to do this. You're an incubator. This is a tough one for women. You're an incubator. So there's portions of when she was having the baby and pregnant, I said, no more training. And most women will go, no, I'm getting too fat. She said, okay, whatever you say. So stress to the body is stress to the body, regardless. And I know most people say, well, working out is good. Moderately working out is good when you're having a baby. Stress is stress.
Yeah.
The baby can't tell the difference. And so we kept feeding her well, and then she backed off and allowed the body to do whatever it did to make sure the baby was fed correctly. And that's a tough argument for any guy to have with a woman. Hey,
Yeah.
don't train for the 9 months, eat a lot, get fat, have the baby.